All right, that's a good note to begin the discussion on, and let me go straight across to Anna Vetticad first. Anna, we're talking today on the occasion of International Women's Day about non-conformist women. Now, it could mean a lot of things to a lot of different women. It could mean choosing to remain single, it could mean marrying late, it could mean choosing an unconventional career. What does being a non-conformist mean to you? And, you know, some would say, is it just a myth that we discuss in television studios?
It's not a myth, Neha, because women like me exist, women like you exist. But non-conformism to me does not necessarily mean staying single or marrying late or choosing an unconventional career. Non-conformism to me means just minding my own business and letting the world go about its business the way it wants to. I don't demand of my friends that they should marry at a particular time or have babies when they get married or work or not work when they get married. Definitely, I advise friends that they should always be financially independent, but I don't judge them if they are not. And I have minded my own business all my life, and I just expect the world to leave me to mind my own business because I'm not interfering and telling other people what they should do. However, that of course is what I think. This doesn't mean the world out there is like that. As you know, as a single woman, you face all kinds of social pressure. Why aren't you married? Do you hate men? Why aren't you married at this time? You know, it'll get too late. Your biological clock is ticking. Right. But then if you're a married woman, you also face questions. Why are you working? How selfish are you? You're dumping, you know, you're leaving your kids at home and going off to work. Right. I mean, the fact is that there is nothing that a woman can do, no role that she can take up where she will not be judged. Yeah. So all one asks is, mind your own business to the rest of the world and just leave us to live our lives.
Right. That is, of course, a very important point that she makes, Revati. You know, this being judged all the time, being questioned for all the decisions that you make. Now, you know, when we talk about non-conformist women, you know, we often refer to them as liberated, independent women. Also, they're, you know, it's an assumption that they're privileged women. But clearly, it is anything but an easy life for them. For example, we were discussing earlier about how it's so difficult for single women to even find accommodation and the kind of questions they're asked.
Well, yes, I want to just tweak this a little bit. I think it is true that if you come from a segment of society like me, you are automatically cushioned from most things, not just, so you can, it's not about affording to be a non-conformist or anything. I haven't really thought of myself as a non-conformist till everyone else around me disagrees with most things I say. And I think it's a larger political question of, you know, if you decide to be yourself, you automatically become a feminist. And being a feminist means questioning and not saying only that it's about minding my own business, but standing up for things that that you feel around you that actually kind of hem you in, and not just you as a person, but kind of force society to stay where it is. For example, it's not just about, yes, it being more difficult for, say, a single woman like me to find a place to stay, but it's really a larger political question of why society always kind of tries to keep the status quo. And we're a very patriarchal society. In the last 20 years, the way we've been urbanized has been much more patriarchal and right-wing than we care to actually examine. And the reason the world over that there are more people who are kind of single is because there is this great upheaval. And, you know, people keep saying people get divorced and lots of women, lots of marriages are breaking. I think that's a good thing. Shake up the firmament, change the universe, and unless you break things, you can't make new things. You have to break patriarchy before you can make something else.
But I must cut in because, of course, Revati is reacting to what I said. When I said mind my own business and other people should mind their own business, I absolutely did not mean that I'm being selfish and I don't care about the rest of the world. The fact is, firstly, though, I think I live by example. And I think when I was growing up, there were very, very few women who were role models for a woman like me who wanted to see women who were successful professionally and fulfilled at home also. So for me, first of all, being a role model is very important, but obviously you have to speak up. In fact, I think if you call yourself a feminist, you should not just speak up for women, you should speak up for all marginalized people, whether it's religious minorities, sexual minorities, Dalits, scheduled tribes, everybody. So, I mean, maybe Revati misunderstood what I said. What I meant is, please allow us to live our lives the way we want to. We're not bothering you. How does me having a baby at the age of 20 or 25 or 30 bother you? How does me not having a baby affect the world population?
It's a completely personal choice, and why should we be judged on that?
Exactly. Exactly.
Right.
And also, you know, unless you're going out there and harming the world.
Yeah.
But again, this question that, you know, I know that women who get married and then don't have kids, they're told that they're being selfish. Selfish about what?
Exactly.
The world population has been reduced because that one woman didn't have children?
Exactly.
This
so
is
personal
ridiculous.
choice, why should she be judged on that? In fact, at this point, let me bring in Rita, who joins us from Kolkata. Rita, you've been listening into this fascinating debate. Now, we're not suggesting here that being a non-conformist woman necessarily means just being single. But if we were to just take that as an example, you know, we've been talking about how difficult it is for a single woman who's constantly asked, why are you not married? I mean, I often wonder how often are men really badgered with those really annoying questions, perhaps with the exceptions of Salman Khan and Rahul Gandhi.
Well, I think that it is more so here in India because I lived, you know, from a very young age, I lived in the US alone for more than 10 years. And one of the biggest differences I find here that as a woman, I'm expected to be under somebody's roof. Either, you know, my father's family owns me or a husband's family owns me. So if I'm asked, are you married? And I say no, then, you know, they're looking at me like, are you one of those free goats just roaming around, you know? But the fact that, you know, a lot of single women, I look around and I find myself doing that too. I will point, you know, to my parents' family and say, no, there's a family there that owns me and they have the papers to prove it. But this fear, I had never had living alone in the US by myself. I lived in Washington, D.C., which Indians always tell me, oh, that's the crime capital of the world. But nobody, you know, that fear that as a single woman, but here I see women, upper middle class friends of mine who've either recently got divorced or who, there's a friend of mine, her husband died unexpectedly and her parents had, you know, immigrated quite some time ago. So they now view her as some sort of a material to pounce on, you know. This friend whose husband died, she was quite young. Suddenly she starts getting dirty phone calls in the middle of the night, and she had not wanted to leave India. You know, she said
right.
that I lived here, I can continue trying to live here, but she'll get dirty phone calls in the middle of the night. There'll be men accosting her, you know,
right.
in the stairways.